Joining us now is security expert Chris Phillips. Chris, what lessons do you think the French can learn first about what's happened?
Well, the issues in France is that they've got a much larger haystack of terrorist problems than we have in the UK. What I think they will learn from this is that they need to put more people under the radar of their surveillance. These individuals were actually clearly still interested in committing terrorist attacks, and yet had fallen off the radar. Very similar to as we had with the Lee Rigby incident in the UK.
That the men were known to the authorities, but they thought they weren't an imminent threat.
Absolutely, and it's how you get to the point of knowing whether someone's going to actually turn into a terrorist.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, if you hear the neighbours of Koulibaly talking, he was the man who held up the supermarket, having already shot a female police officer. They thought there was nothing wrong with him. He didn't discuss any politics. He didn't seem to have any radical ideas. And of course he wouldn't. He wasn't going to show what he was up to. So how... It's not a case of stopping mistakes happening and you'll therefore stop this happening, is it?
No, and we have to understand that people can turn very quickly and make a decision very quickly to go from just being an extremist to being a terrorist. These are massive issues for the police right across the Western world, actually, because you know, how many surveillance teams can you actually have at any one time?
And when you compare our police to others in the Western world, many more of them are unarmed.
Yeah.
Do you think it's time to change that now?
Well, no, I'm not sure it is, because we had the police officers in France were killed in any case, and they had weapons with them. What I would say is the reaction in the UK, we have extremely well-trained police officers with firearms, probably as good as anywhere in the world, but of course we don't have very many of them. And if you think back to events with Raoul Moat a few years ago, you know, they were having a call to Northumbria, officers from London, to deal with that. And that was just a single man.
So if something did happen in, say, a big city, London, Birmingham, Manchester, something like that, would it be so bad to get the armed forces involved more quickly? Would it be possible?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any choice, because the present Home Secretary and this government have decided to reduce police finances. The police are losing people left, right and centre, and these are big issues because we're losing experience in our police forces. We're losing potentially the firearms. You don't just become a firearms officer very quickly. This is something that takes a long time. The same with surveillance officers. You just don't become a surveillance officer overnight. It's something that takes months and months of training. And these are issues, and I doubt at the moment, if an incident such as happened in France, that the British police could manage to deal with it. Certainly 52 hours, that incident.
Big questions to ask. Thanks very much indeed, Chris.